Here's a review of What If Season 2, Episode 5. In this one, it is What If Peggy Carter Fought the Hydra Stomper. And it is kind of like a continuation from the first episode. But like many of these episodes, like I sense the main problem, even though if I enjoy it, which I did, where it always just feels so fast. But it's cool, like getting like the dynamic between Captain Carter and in this universe, this Black Widow too, who's voiced by Lake Bell, who also voices Poison Ivy in the Harley Quinn show. So that was great to see, and she was also, of course, in season 1 as well. And it's interesting, and they reveal like this. The design of the Hydra Stomper is very cool, and they kind of talk about how he was brainwashed through like the Red Room, whatever. In the same case of like with Black Widow, and there's a lot of really cool stuff that you can enjoy in this episode. And then, of course, spoiler alert, it's Steve. And it's very interesting because you're seeing this brainwashed version of Steve, who's, of course, like famously like so good of nature. And with this version, he's being a villain. So it's just very interesting to see. And a lot of it is just Peggy and Black Widow kind of tracking down, trying to figure out like what's causing this. Until we find out it's like the Black Widow Corporation with, I don't remember the girl's name, like, what is their name? Like Allegra something? Allegra de Fontaine? Is it supposed to be that character? I don't really know for sure, but it's cool because when we're in this town, it gives you kind of major WandaVision, like kind of eerie, creepy vibes to it, which is just really cool to see. I mean, I'm a huge horror fan, so anytime that there's some horror on screen, hey, I'll take it. And it's also cool because you get to see an older Bucky Barnes. So it's just kind of a little nice, like that's the whole thing is like the what if. I mean, obviously in the title, but just seeing these like, oh, these little cool things, getting to see all this extra stuff that you would never see in the mainline MCU, and that's what that's here for. And you do get some cool action, like, and I like seeing Steve as like a villain. It's kind of cool because it's just so not Steve. And there is some really interesting reveals where, of course, at the end, like Steve basically like sacrifices himself at the end as like they kind of talk him down. And this episode is mainly built on the dynamic between Black Widow and Captain Carter, which makes it pretty good. And at the end, Captain Carter goes into an alternate reality, which is very cool to see. And in that alternate reality, we get to see, we go to the medieval times, which is going to be the next episode tomorrow, and that is going to be awesome because I've been looking forward to this one for a while. The idea, I think it's the what if the Avengers assemble in like 1506, and it's really cool the design of it. And we get to see Scarlet Witch returning. Who, hey, I'm not as big of a Scarlet Witch fan as everyone else seems to be, like, especially on this platform. Everyone's, like, a huge fan of Scarlet Witch, of Wanda, and I'm like, yeah, she's cool. Like, I don't really get the hype. But, hey, it's kind of cool to see her, and I'm just really more excited just to see the aesthetic of this world in, like, the 1506 or whatever. And I just thought it was a solid episode, and that's, like, what I say about every episode, which kind of makes this show both enjoyable but also disappointing in the same way where it's like, I like it. A lot of these episodes, hey, I liked it more than season 1. So, hey, that's a good thing, even though, at least it's a good thing I'm liking it more than season 1. But it's one of those things, like, I feel like there's just so much potential. And who knows, maybe this next episode will be great. I mean, the idea of it being during the 1800s, or, no, not 1800s, 1500s, or whatever. Like, and seeing these medieval knights with Marvel, it just sounds awesome. So, who knows, maybe it could be great. But I do feel like the show overall it has a lot more potential. And I say that every single time I do a review. But like I said, I still enjoyed this episode. I'm glad I watched it. I thought it was a fun episode. And I'm really looking forward to the next one. I think that this did a very good job of almost giving us also a little bit of those Winter Soldier vibes that we missed. Where the more of the kind of eerie, not necessarily like scary, but like the eerie, oh, you don't really know what's going on. There's a mole in the system kind of thing. It was very, very well done in Winter Soldier. And it's kind of very well done here as well. Like I said, you get the great dynamic. I really like Captain Carter. I think that she's really cool. I really like Black Widow. Seeing this cool dynamic is really fun. And yeah, so I thought this was a solid episode. It was pretty good.